Hey there everyone, welcome back. So skateboarders hate to wear helmets because it's uncool and a lot of the pros don't wear them. And it's really just a personal choice if you're going to actually wear a helmet or not. And this is the thing that I'm curious about. In the Olympics, should the skateboarders be forced to wear helmets? Skateboarders in the street division, if they're under 18, they're forced to wear a helmet, but if they're over 18, they don't have to, as you can see in these photos. But in the park division, they all have to wear helmets. So do you believe skateboarders in the Olympics, all of them should be forced to wear helmets? Let me know. Well, Ryker Schellings believes so. That's right, a Seattle skateboarder who suffered a traumatic brain injury urges future Olympic skaters to wear helmets.
Ryker Schellings was looking at law schools in 2019.
Wow.
But he had a fun side to him too.
Having a good time, just shredding at the park.
Skateboarding gave him an escape.
Can you hear me, Aiden? Thumbs up.
But after a crash at Greenlake, the 19-year-old nearly died.
And what's our date today?
We followed him to Colorado's.
Isn't that crazy how he was actually studying to become a law student? He was actually a really good amateur, if not semi-professional skateboarder, and he ended up taking a bail, and it completely changed not only his life, but his friends and his family's lives forever. So yeah, this is a very dramatic story, and people need to take this more seriously. Same with the Olympics and all other skateboarders.
Craig Hospital, where therapists struggled talking to Aiden, so they found a better way to communicate.
What do you feel like singing today?
Sweet Caroline.
Classics seem to work best.
Sweet Caroline. Bum, bum, bum. Good times never seem so good. So good, so good.
See how completely changed, and they had to use music to try to communicate with them. That's harsh. That's sad, but yeah, this, like I said, this needs to be taken more seriously. And luckily Aiden though has been recovering, as you'll see. But
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about the future as well.
look at that. Complete recovery from where he was to there, but he's still not 100% to where he was originally. And he's lucky to be alive. He's lucky to be where he's at today. He's lucky to have the family and the support he has. Yeah, no, this could have been a major tragedy. A lot of kids lose their lives from hitting their heads. So
2 years later, he's much better. But he's not Aiden anymore.
Aiden's gone. Aiden's no more. Aiden died off his skateboard. So now Ryker's my new name, and Ryker's promising, Ryker's young, Ryker's fresh.
See, I wasn't aware of that. See, he completely changed so much from hitting his head that he changed even his identity, because he said who he was before, Aiden, he's no longer that person. He's now Ryker. And that's pretty powerful. That's really powerful and crazy. So yeah, that goes to show you, if you like who you are, wear a helmet. And it could definitely change you. It could change your life, in a second. All it takes is a slip and smack your head, and that's it.
And Ryker is getting a new home right next door to his parents' place.
That's
where he
awesome.
can live with a caregiver.
We pulled out a loaf
awesome.
of bread the other day, and he was going to make a sandwich. And I said, okay, just go ahead and stick a couple of pieces in the toaster oven. And I turn around, and the whole loaf of bread with the plastic is melting away in the toaster oven. Which is just kind of...
Sorry for laughing, but that's funny, because that reminds me personally of a time when my mom told me I found a muffin frozen in the freezer, and she told me to put it in the microwave, and I was like, how long? And she was like, oh, just throw it in for 10 or something. And I was young, so I was like, oh, okay, 10. So I put it in for 10 minutes, and it caught fire in the microwave, and there was smoke everywhere. So that kind of reminds me of that. But yeah, that goes to show you on how he was studying to be a law student, and now he goes to cook toast, and he ends up putting the loaf on the toaster, and that's really sad. That's unfortunate, but that's really good that they're getting a home for him and a caregiver and everything. So like I said, this story, that people need to actually watch this, and they need to actually take this seriously.
That still, there's a lot of confusion.
Mom Rebecca and Ryker have been watching the Olympics.
Awesome. I watched skateboarding in the Olympics.
What'd you think?
I thought I wanted all skateboarders to wear helmets, even
dude.
over 18.
Helmets
agree.
are required for all of the park competitors this week, but in the first event last week, the street competition, only those under 18 had to wear helmets.
That to me is very shameful in my mind. I know I'm gonna get a lot of backlash for that from like a lot of skaters that don't like helmets, but like it's the Olympics, okay? They're supposed to be setting like a standard, like professionalism, like they're supposed to protect the athletes. Like all other athletes usually you wear protective gear if they're, in their sport or division. I don't understand why some skaters are forced to because they're under 18 and then other skaters that are over don't have to, and it could have wound up really serious at the Olympics this year for some of the bails, but I'll talk about that in a minute.
This was a huge missed opportunity to send a message to all of the kids that are going to look at this and maybe want to go
100%.
out and start skating, and well,
100%.
they're not wearing the helmet, so I'm not going to wear a helmet.
Exactly, and now all these kids that are not going to wear the helmets are just learning or starting to skateboard, and that's the thing. Some of us might get lucky. We might not ever fall and hurt ourselves. Might not ever break our bones. Might never hit our heads. We might just like scrape our elbows or scrape our legs or get shinners. But there's other kids, like, my cousin when we were skating growing up, he fell and hit his head and he had a concussion. And that happens. When you're learning, you're going to end up slipping and falling. And the chances on with a skateboard, it's like almost like ice. And a lot of people will slip and fall like when they're just learning. So all these kids now are not going to wear helmets. And yeah, they're going to end up getting injured. They're going to hit their heads, end up in the hospital. They can end up in a wheelchair, completely changed, or even worse, they could end up passing away. So
If you buckle up your seatbelt before you drive in the car, you should buckle up your helmet before you go on the skateboard.
Right?
that's actually a good suggestion there, man. That's actually good. If you're gonna buckle up your seatbelt, you should buckle up your helmet. 100%, I agree with you.
Wants to take that message to schools this fall, but in the meantime, he's inspired to get to the Paralympics.
Maybe try doing crew, or maybe swimming, or maybe table tennis.
Why not skateboarding, man? Just do baby steps. Slowly ease yourself into it. Wear a helmet. Wear the full elbow pads, wrist pads, and I'm pretty sure, dude, you're gonna make it into the Paralympics. I bet you $100 next year if you do it, you'll be there 100%. I believe in you, Riker. So what I was talking about earlier about the Olympics and the skateboarders not wearing helmets, that there could have been actually a potential major catastrophe during the skateboarding event. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I don't know if you've seen this footage, but everyone laughed it off, and yeah, it's kind of funny, but it's actually really harsh, this bail this guy took during the Olympics, but this could have been way worse. Like, watch this footage here. Oh, that's so bad. Like I said, like that's just crazy. But just imagine for a second, okay? Like you see how he like hit there like that. Okay, just look at the speed he was going. Boom. What if it was the other way around? What if it was actually his head hitting that metal rail? Boom. At that speed and that impact, I don't know. He would have definitely been feeling it. He probably would have had a big lump on the side of his head. He possibly, I don't know. That's a gnarly rail there. And that was a gnarly impact. So it's hard to say. Like he could have been knocked out cold. He could have been unconscious. He could have suffered a traumatic brain injury. He could have ended up in the hospital. He could have been in a wheelchair. And that's my point about this, is that everyone kind of laughed at this footage, and yeah, it's funny or whatever, but it could have been completely the opposite way. It could have been completely a major tragedy, and sadly, I don't think skateboarding or the skateboard industry or anything is going to change until some professionals, either at the Olympics or some major skateboarding event, get seriously, extremely injured or die, or out in the streets filming their parts, which some pro skateboarders have taken some gnarly bails, and it's in video footage, or it's just never going to change. which is truly sad and a tragedy because there's probably hundreds of kids all over the world that are ending up in the hospital in a wheelchair or ending up dead because they're not wearing a helmet when they're trying to learn or practice skateboarding. And the industry doesn't really change or shift because it's geared towards the professionals and the brands. So in reality, the whole industry needs to change. All the professionals are going to have to wear helmets. The Olympians, all the skate parks, all the skateboard contests, everything. They're gonna have to show an example. Like people are gonna have to speak up. Everything's gonna have to change, and I don't think that's gonna happen within one day or overnight or one or two kids because it's been happening ever since the dawn of skateboarding. Ever since the first person started skateboarding, I'm pretty sure people have wiped out and took in some gnarly bails and people have ended up in the hospital. You just never hear about it. Like heck, there was a kid 2 streets down from my house that supposedly hit his head skateboarding, learning, and ended up going to sleep, and he never woke up again. And I didn't even hear about that until like later, and it wasn't even in the news. So yeah, that's just my thoughts and opinion on the whole helmet situation in skateboarding. Yeah, I do believe that the Olympians that are skateboarding should have to wear helmets, even if they're over 18 or whatnot, to show a good example to any of the kids. They're in the Olympics, but as a skateboarding as a whole, that's a whole another story. If you're over 18, it should be your choice. But that's the thing is if the government or laws start to be passed and they make it mandatory that you have to wear a helmet, and if you get caught without one, you get arrested or go to jail or get a fine, well then pretty sure a lot of skateboarders aren't going to take that risk. And if they do, then they're going to have to pay the consequences, sadly. But that's just my own thoughts and opinion on the whole situation. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Do you think skateboarders in the Olympics should wear helmets? Do you think they should be forced to wear them? And do you think skateboarders in general should have to wear helmets, like just across the board? I don't know. It's a very sticky situation, but yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions about this in the comments below. Please like this video, share it with your friends and family so they're aware and they can kind of chime in on this because yeah, I'm very interested to hear how you all feel about this, as well as other skaters, as well as like the moms and other people, that have either been impacted or affected by somebody that didn't wear a helmet and was skateboarding and hurt themselves, or maybe yourself. Maybe you had it happen. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Also, please click that subscribe button down below. Helps me out a lot, and it takes 2 seconds, and it's free. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay safe. God bless you all. Take care, and peace out. Also, make sure to wear your skateboard helmets.